Hello Cancer, and welcome to your March forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this reading can be used for Sun, Rising, and Moon sign. Let's begin with channeled messages, the first of which came through in dreams, and basically what I was seeing was perhaps too much of a focus on external sources of validation. For students, this is grades, and that's how Spirit showed. It was like a report card, basically. So I was looking at something, and the thought that went through my mind is, are you making the grade? And then as I really thought about this when I woke up, it's a much larger sort of context. It's really about redefining and re-establishing a connection with the word success, because you can actually not succeed at a goal, but learn from it. And then in the future, when you do better, that whole sort of trajectory is success. And you wouldn't have been able to accomplish something without perhaps going through the initial quote unquote failure. All failure is a moment where things didn't work as expected, but if you integrate, if you learn, if you grow, then you are actually becoming stronger. You have a deeper knowledge that you will not forget in the future, and that is no more or less valuable than someone that succeeds the first time. And the other thing is, just because certain people maybe get more attention or more money or have that path to quote unquote success come a little bit sooner, it doesn't negate the work that you've done on a soul level. Each and every one of us is going through important milestones that we picked for ourselves before we came into this body. And the only thing that we take with us when we leave, besides love, of course, is that knowledge. So your experiences and all of the love and the relationship, that energy, that follows you to the next level. So as long as you are continuing to learn and apply, and you are loving and trusting and supporting yourself in the process, my friends, that is success. So keep working hard, keep pushing towards your goals, and then also redefine what success means to you. So the Six of Wands to your mom or dad or to a teacher may have been getting straight A's. It might have been getting, some sort of job title or getting married or doing something by a certain time. But for you, it might be something completely different. And again, that makes it yours and yours alone. Success is a singular, unique sort of thing that we can all decide and define. And the sooner you do that, the happier you'll be. And I think rather than success, fulfillment would be a better word. Is the path that you're on bringing you a sense of comfort and happiness, and that you are learning and growing and knowing? And if you are, that's success. All right? I think we probably talked that one into the ground, but you are not your grade, you are not your job, you are not your title. None of those things matter at the end of your days. Some of you needed to hear that. And you are making the grade. Just keep applying those skills and those learnings. This is feeding into the next vision that I saw. So the way that my guides will work, just like when we're looking at a tarot card, in this one we have the Wheel of Fortune, nicely connected to the success message. One image I can kind of connect with certain things. So when I see plumbing issues, yes, you can take it at face value, and I'll talk about that in a second, but it can also be just your emotions. So where I was shown the plumbing issue was the bathtub. Specifically beneath it, I saw grout issues and I saw water starting to bubble up. To me, though, the bathtub can take a lot of water, but there was something going wrong either with the drain or the pipes. And so there comes a point where that release, it's not happening. It's like you're overflowing. So for some of you, there's a lot going on. I use the 10 of Wands instead of the 10 of Cups because this is a card where a burden steps in. Sometimes we try to carry that load all by ourselves. So it could be an emotional burden that people are putting on you. It could be too many responsibilities. You could also just be feeling that sense of fatigue as you're getting close to the end of a particular project or goal. Whatever it is, what I'm getting right now in this month is, one, you will succeed. You're going to finish what you started, but self-care is taking priority. So the very last bullet is where the magic happens. Say no, delegate, reframe the experience altogether, and know that by taking a couple of steps back, actually we see it here, you can get to the success of the Six of Wands. There's an oversight, a sort of managerial energy in this one, whereas this one is sort of feeling like Atlas in mythology, where, kind of holding up the weight of the world there. So find your release valve. It could be art, it could be therapy, it could be exercise, and lean into that. And then Do everything in that last bullet that feels right for you, including pushing back on things. At the end of the day, you're very close to something being completed, so don't lose steam at this last part of the journey. Take a break, take care of yourself, and then and only then proceed, okay? You need that release. And that's really what the pipes represent to me. But if you have a house that you're constructing or an old house that you're living in, you could also look at the plumbing as well. The final thing I was shown in dreams this morning was basically a puppet with strings, and the puppet master would be the devil card that I featured here. This represented very clearly reclamation of power and cutting ties with anyone in your life that has a difficult time letting you be yourself. This could be anyone from a family member to a friend to a boss, but invariably we've all known someone who has a hard time letting go or feels like they need to be pulling the strings. You'll know who that is. And if you're not feeling that connection, this is also just simply an encouragement to trust yourself and feel fully empowered to make your decisions. You don't have to wait for someone else to make that sort of final call. This is your chance to really lean into your authority and your agency. So what I really want to focus on too is elevated communication, because one thing that was coming through, and this is usually sort of like flowing out of devil type energy here, but it was gossip. And there's many different cards in tarot that can represent gossip, so we're not going to worry about which one was coming through. We're going straight to the source here, which is the devil. I basically just heard whispers. I saw people, and then I saw the energy get back to the person that they were talking about, and they figured out who was talking. So this is a month where if you see gossip, you want to separate yourself from it, and if possible, stop it. You can simply say, this is inappropriate, I don't want to be a part of it. Like, that's the easiest thing. It's up to them to do what they want to do, but you don't need to be party to it. You could also go a step further saying this is against policy, stop it or I'll have to say something. Depends how much of a firm stance you want to take. Sometimes you don't want to shake the hornet's nest, but whatever you do, make sure you're not a party to it. And that's all I'm going to say with that, because it does look like it will get around back to the source. So lead with integrity, put down limits when necessary, cut ties with people that are acting inappropriately, push back on people that are trying to control or influence you unfairly, and focus on other things, because the previous cards indicate that there's a lot of really good things coming through, particularly that you're very close to completion here and that you actually are making the grade and succeeding. So what you really don't want to put out is any thought of fear or anxiety, because that's going to just kind of feed into that last card with the devil. All right, let's give the cards a nice shuffle and see what's coming through for this month ahead. Welcome, everybody. I'm actually using the deck that you saw there with the devil card because Lightseers is just such a great selection of imagery here. But let's focus now, Cancer, and see what's coming through on the month ahead. All right, let's begin with the Catalyst card here. The title of this card is Reddening, and the book basically defines it a lot as this connection to the heart, to blood, to passion. And lo and behold, when we look at the spread in front of us, we can actually connect this one to the heart right here, to the Three of Swords. And that's in hopes, fears, and opportunities. The way that this particular Three of Swords is illustrated is that the heart is trying to mend. There are certain things that are pulling and tugging at that heart, and there is a need for release, like I talked about with the plumbing in my channeled visions. But if you can get through that, you're going to come through it with the strength of the serpent here, which is basically power and flexibility, because these are symbols of power. So anything that you've gone through in your life that would constitute a disappointment, a setback, or just struggle, it's making you stronger. And that's basically what this is meaning to me when I look at it, okay? The snake is also a call to action for flexibility. So if there's any areas in your life where you're feeling inflexible, right above the Three of Swords, we have the Four of Pentacles, which is holding on to something or having a difficult time showing up or releasing things. Well, that's what's kind of feeding into the Three of Swords. So you want to work on being more flexible, letting go. Bending like a willow tree a little bit. The other thing with the snake card that I'm seeing here too is it's about timing, because one of the things that make them such great hunters is they're willing to sort of lie in wait, figure out for exactly the right moment, and then go. So if there's any hesitation this month, when you know it's time to move, it's also saying break through that. So focus on flexibility. Know that any challenges that you've been through are making you stronger. And then when a synchronicity or opportunity comes knocking, lean into it, take advantage of that moment. Don't hold back. Let's just observe the cards in the general sort of energy, and then we'll take it step by step here. When I'm looking at past, near future, and outcome, I really like the past and the near future. Many of you have learned to find your voice. You have a really great opportunity in front of you, and you're learning a lot from it. But there is this difficulty in letting something go. It could be that you're waiting for an apology, or you're holding on to a disappointment, but the needle's pointing in a different direction in your compass, and it's really towards this Eight of Pentacles and Nine of Wands energy. So let me help you out. Let's just go card by card. We're going to start off with the Two of Pentacles first. And this card, which is being stubborn here, this card represents the choice that's going to either really set you on solid ground or might continue to kind of tug at your heartstrings a bit. So with the Two of Pentacles, there's one too many things in front of you, and you really have to say, my heart, my energy, my desire is behind this, and I'm going to delegate, say no, or just simply move beyond the other. So there's a choice like that in front of you. For many of you, all you need to do is make that decision, and then you have an ace and things start to go in the right direction. For the rest of you, this can also mean that there's a lack of balance, work-life balance. Maybe there's not enough financial support or time in your schedule. Whatever constitutes the trigger or the sort of imbalance, this is where you really want to put your focus to bring that back into somewhat more of a neutral energy. This can also be inner ear issues when we have a balance card like this. So obviously, I'm not a doctor, so if that comes through, you want to, talk to your health care professional about that. And then, of course, we can take it at face value. It's usually the last read that I will have for the Two of Pentacles, but it's simply saying, when it comes to money or time or any resource for that matter, don't stretch yourself too thin. And everything that I just talked about will help you not to do that, basically just by saying no. So we have two fours in two different corners here. The Four of Cups at the center, possibly missing a blessing. Things could be better than you think if you recalibrate. One of the things, again, that might be causing that lack of clarity is just holding on to something that doesn't serve you. Let's talk about the Four of Cups first. So if we were to just cover up these three cups in the corner, we have basically like the gold at the end of the rainbow there with this extra cup, but she's not looking. There's something beautiful. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, there's actually like a hand putting it right in front of the face, but the person in that deck is just kind of very similar to her expression, just not engaged, either a little disgruntled, frustrated, or maybe just even upset, like why isn't it the way I want it? It's very much what we would expect sometimes of a younger child, and we all have those inner child moments where it's like, but I don't want to go to work, or why can't I have this? So sometimes it's legitimately self-need and self-care coming through, but sometimes it's just jealousy, or sometimes it's just frustration. So when we can work on healing the inner child and then also helping even the angry older child or adult through some of that stuff, then we can actually start to see what's around us. So emotional healing, that's really it, folks. Take some time to cue into the emotions and go a step beyond that and say, where's this coming from? Why did it come up today? Is there something that I can do to address it? And that's when the magic will start to happen. And that's when you're going to see the blessing here. This card is also a reminder that, it always looks greener. The grass always looks greener on the other side. You may never know the true story, though, especially now in the day of social media. There's so much projection and curation that happens in stories and images and things that go out that you don't really know what's behind the lens. So you just do you, let other people do their own version of life. And again, recalibrating your own success orientation is really where the power exists right now. You're doing a good job here when it comes to your throat chakra. The Queen of Swords is one of the best cards for overall communication. So it feels like some of you have found your voice, or you're ready to take action on something. And all you have to do now is take that next step. This is a great month to share your thoughts and ideas with others. Being the penultimate card in the suit that controls communication, the Queen of Swords reminds us, it's not about how much you say or how often you speak. Just when you do speak or communicate or convey things, do so with an impact. So be concise, be clear, be passionate as well. And in doing all of this, you'll command attention. And that's what kings and queens do. So remember, power comes in that concise sort of punch of energy. Speaking of another really strong card here, we have the Queen of Wands. These two queens together are unstoppable. They could be the co-CEOs of any company that I'd want to work for, and I'd be really happy. So this is talking the talk and this is walking the walk. And if you can do both this month, then the sky is the limit. The Queen of Wands, she's working her magic. Look at her. And she's saying, I've got this. And she's pulling people in with her own passion, charisma, and also her ability to just demonstrate it, embody it. And when we think of really good communicators and salespeople, part of their allure is really just the fact that they're having a good time, they're excited, and they make you want to be a part of it. If you can do that this month, you will find success on many different elements of your life, whether it's love, business, personal development, etc. Love the little cat, which is kind of hidden on this one. The cat represents intuition and landing on your feet. So even if there's been challenges in the past, this time around, you've got it. So just, I really think, lean into your own power and your own voice this month. And if that, El Diablo card is out there floating, the devil card, just cut the strings and say, not now. I've got better things to do. Really, not ever. We don't really need that devil energy in there. We have the Temperance angel protecting you in the crowning position. This is so lovely. I mean, it is an angel. It's one of the angelic cards you see. The Lovers is another angel card, but Temperance is great because, and of course, Judgment. But the Temperance card is wonderful because it's showing you how patience, balance, and diligence is really what's going to help you out, and taking one step at a time. Let me pull the traditional card while we're talking. What I do like on this one, though, we kind of have that same energy of the Two of Pentacles here, the two choices. It's about really deciding what matters for you, letting go of the other. And in the traditional card, you'll see that emotional balancing is a big component of it. So one of the things I think you want to really sort out is you could ask yourself, how do I feel? Here's the traditional Temperance angel. So this can be when you're trying to even make a decision on two practical things. It's also saying, let me go into the heart and see which one feels better. If you have a choice in front of you and it's physical, let's say it's like a choice between two different apartments or two different schools or two different jobs, think about how you felt in the space, or imagine yourself in that space and think which one is a energetic fit for you as well. But taking your time, taking one step at a time, knowing that that path is always going to be there. You just really want to be prepared. Just that ounce of preparation is going to help you out more than you would ever imagine. You're on the right path, by the way. This I normally would connect with the month of April, so 1 month away from where we're at right now. Timelines look really, really good, okay? Spread your wings. Look at you can see the beautiful wings on this one too. So it's time to spread your wings and take one step at a time. Some of you just started a class, a school, a project. Maybe some of you are actually putting things into a contract, a book, or into writing, because those two cards are definitely connected with writing. But if it's school, training, or some sort of activity, the Eight of Pentacles represents a return on that investment and basically like you're soaking it all in. This is the best card for knowledge acquisition. So Three of Pentacles is usually mastery and graduation. This is like apprenticeship and learning. So you can learn a lot this month. You can get a lot done. You can document things in a way that others will want to consume it. Again, that's a very broad definition because not everyone's like a writer. Some people, you might be putting things into scientific documentation. Some it might be technical writing. Some it might be a curriculum. So many different ways that you can write, record, or share something. But this is a great month for production and distribution as well. It's good. I like where your resources are going, and I like how much you can sort of like push yourself forward in a positive direction. That's why I'm only getting the sense of success as I'm looking at this reading. So I'm glad we talked about redefining it. It's not just about the titles and the visibility. It's also about like how much progress you're making. That's one of my definitions. And I'm like, you're learning so much and you're really growing so much that that's how I'm defining it. And I'm happy with what I see here for you. Back to what you need to focus on. We have another card here where it's basically saying it's time for self-care. This King of Cups represents you. It's coming through reversed. This was that energy of the bathtub overflowing or the pipes that were starting to burst. So King of Cups in the upright position can handle anything that comes his way. It's almost like he's floating on the water, right? When he's reversed, it's feeling like all of that emotional energy is kind of almost suffocating or drowning. And so this month, if you've had enough of anything, take a step back, say no to some things if you're finally clear on it, and give yourself the time to also just rest and get the distance you need to make that decision. I talked about that recently in a one-card reading, and the Eight of Cups is a powerful way to do that. And it's basically saying, let me sleep on it, let me take a day, let me just hit the pause button. And all of those things would also apply to the King of Cups reversed. There's some unique things that I like on this illustration. First of all, we have a sea star or a starfish, and starfish are great because they have the ability to regrow. So if one of those limbs is cut off, most species, especially if you don't get too close to the center, have the ability to repair themselves. Some species even separate right along the center, and they can clone themselves. So there's a chance to come back, to rebound, to regrow, and I love that reparation, that healing energy that's a part of this. He's kind of playing a singing bowl in front of him, so there is the reminder here of the power of meditation. And so for those of you that haven't taken time to slow down, please do that. Your ship is coming in like we would see in the Three of Wands in the background here. So it's just about getting your emotional self ready to receive. And then this is the ultimate card of receptive energy in the minor arcana, because it's the top of the suit of cups, and it's basically passion, love, creativity, intuition, and leadership all rolled into one. It's probably my favorite king card, because if you wanted to work with or for someone, or if you wanted a friend, this compassion and leadership is so nice to have in your corner. So you're coming through with that. It makes sense. This is you. But you might need to say no to some things and also say, I need some help. I need some support. Don't be afraid to speak up. It's so much easier said than done. But as we look at the cards here, especially this in Hope, Fears, and Opportunity, this Three of Swords, it's exactly what's needed. So it's your moment to say, I need some help, or to lean on someone. We have a really pushy energy coming through in the environment. So this could indicate someone around you that won't take no for an answer. Now, it's interesting because The way I've learned to read the environment after several years of tarot reading is like energy attracts like energy, or a difficult lesson in the environment can represent something that we need to focus on within. You got a lot of court cards: Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, and King of Cups. You have the power to make it happen. Someone around you is testing that power and that resolve. The Nine of Wands will keep pushing until you say no or until you push back. Now, what isn't showing in this card usually is a bandage around the head. So someone is also having like a difficult time thinking through this. They may have been hurt themselves, and the only way that they know to succeed is to be pushy and not to relent, basically not to let go. And so the challenge for you is in negotiation this month. That is a powerful person to work with. The great news here is you have all these power cards plus an angelic card that are going to help you. The Queen of Swords can simply push right back with a no. If someone says, well, but how about this? You could say, no, we agreed to this. And that's it. You can just stop it right there. If there's more of an exchange and you want to listen, you can say, all right, I'll hear you out on this. And I understand your frustration. You can still go back to a contract or the spoken word, and you can say, however, we did agree to this, so let's move forward. Empathy and clarity. You can also say, I've listened to all of this, but there's a better way. And then you demonstrate it with real life examples. So clear and concise, demonstrative, compassionate, and patient. The patience piece is going to be the hardest one, Temperance here, but this is making sure that when you speak, again, it's absolutely with integrity, with intention, and not overdoing it. And to that end, I think I've said all I need to about those kings and queens. Take it easy this month. Even though this is in the environment, someone could be giving you a headache. It's coming through in a different sort of projected way, or you might be internalizing external stress. So pressure headaches, TMJ, stress, just kind of in the crown chakra is coming through. And that's everything for that. Okay, this is a card of survival though, by the way, so if you need to get something done, you will. I saw the Ten of Wands coming through, so I definitely see the ability to overcome this and get to the finish line. Here's the only true block that we've gotten so far, because the rest of the cards are pretty manageable. Three of Swords. Again, with the sort of energy, we talked about the catalyst here of needing to be flexible. For some of you, processing heavy emotions, dealing with a disappointment or a setback, giving yourself enough time to mend. So before you can enter into a new relationship, project, or opportunity, there's a little bit of recalibration that needs to happen. And it's okay to not be happy. One thing that sometimes gets swept under the rug in spiritual circles is trying to just sort of like sprinkle, glitter on top of everything, and you're not allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel sad. Grief is an important part of growing up and growing old. So as you go through certain things, you're allowed to be upset. But don't be afraid to ask for help. Know this too, it doesn't persist and feel the same forever. As someone who's loved and lost, I know that with my own family, and also as someone who's experienced disappointments at different parts of his life, I know that these moments don't last forever, but they do hurt when you're going through it. So if you need help, ask. That's the main thing that I would say with this. And also, because this is actually more in a fear space, hopes, fears, and opportunities, some of you might just be afraid, like, I don't want to get hurt. And that's what this is really about. So let's talk about that. You shouldn't hold on to something or avoid something for fear of failure or for fear of being hurt, because then you've sort of already not accomplished something that was possible. Better to have tried and not succeeded than not to have given it a shot at all. Better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. So it's basically saying, isn't it worth that, the chance that it would go well? Because sometimes it's just anxiety. We don't want that to hold us back. Now let's talk about the other energies around the Four of Pentacles. We can take it at face value. Someone's coming forth, maybe towards the end of the month, with an offer that they don't even believe. It's reversed. So whoever's trying to put this out there, they know it's either a lowball offer or they feel bad that they have to put that on the table. So for those that are negotiating a contract, this is not good enough. And for those who are constantly working hard but not getting any sort of support, this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's been a long time coming, but it sometimes takes that last thing to really have the epiphany. So that's the main thing here, is it's okay to say no to something better is waiting. And we even see that here. There's so much more value. This is almost like 50%. It is 50% less than this. And it's just saying, no, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that much of a deficit. This card can also represent emotional investment. And if you're looking for partnership or someone to sign on the dotted line for something, it's someone who says, I can't do it. And it could be someone that's afraid of getting married or a long-term relationship, or if you're like a freelancer and you're trying to get a full-time job, they're afraid to hire you or they don't have the capacity. So if someone can't give you what you're looking for, this is also saying, all right, well, I deserve more and I'm ready to look in different directions for that. All right, and that's a nice segue into the expanded forecast, where we're going to go a little deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. And we're going to try to bring you up from that Four of Pentacles more into the Eight of Pentacles energy that I was seeing here that is possible. We're going to start off first with your health card, which is mind, body, and spirit. And let's see what your oracle card in that was. First of all, we can just look at the eye and take that also at face value. So for some of you, it's an opportunity to focus on making sure that your eyes are healthy. So if it's been a while since you've seen the optometrist or ophthalmologist, now is the time to do that. It's also saying pay attention to what's coming through. The animal, which is what the title of this represents, instincts. So we have an instinctual feeling for what's right or wrong in our health. And it may be coming through just as that subtle voice in your head saying, I really need to go and see this doctor, or this ache and pain is something that I can't ignore. Exactly. Take care of it, trust your instincts, and get a second set of eyes on it, okay? That's really all we have to focus on for that. Some of you also might have introduced a new pet or animal into your life. This is just acknowledgement that that is something that could be bringing joy and happiness. All right, let's focus on the general spread and see what additional messages are coming through. When we're looking at health, the Three of Swords is really nuanced and multi-level. It can represent just emotional health, but of course it can also be blood pressure, diabetes, and just heart disease. So if you have a family history of these things, because it's in the opportunity space, it's saying you have an opportunity to go in a different path. So you'll talk to your healthcare providers about that and really focus on leading a different path than your family did. And we all have smarter choices. Like for me, I've never smoked and my dad was a smoker, and it caused a lot of problems here. And there was already a family history of heart issues as well. So even though I'm younger, I've been seeing a cardiologist for a few years just to also be preventative. So preventative health helps quite a bit. And that's all we need to say with that, aside from the emotional component, which we talked about earlier. Other things to focus on, again, some of this external stress can be coming through not just with maybe high blood pressure, but perhaps also with stress headaches. This is not just your body here, so we don't want to just be taking medicine to help with that. We also want to be looking in the environment, which is causing some of this. So is it work? Is it family life? Is it something else that's coming through? These are just the sort of surface issues, and you don't want to just put a Band-Aid on them. You want to go all the way to the source, and that's the main message there with those. Again, just emotional well-being comes through multiple times in this reading. So if you're dealing with a lot or dealing with a loss, first of all, my heart goes out to you, and it's okay to be feeling all of these things, but get some support so that you feel empowered and feel like you have an outlet, a valve, as we talked about earlier. Let's see. I already talked about the potential to maybe have even some balance issues, and just to kind of balance out your time and energy. All of those things come through again. Other than that, I love that we have Temperance here. It's saying any change that's worth making, take your time. Don't be drastic. You don't want to change your diet or exercise or anything really overnight. Slow and steady is going to be more sustainable, and it's going to be less of a shock to the system. And that's everything that came through for health. So now let's move on to your wealth card. This is resources, life purpose, and your general career trajectory. We have the rhino for this one, and it came through reverse, but I like what it says here. It says, overcome any obstacle. And with the reversal of this, there could be a resistance to the belief, so in basically disbelief. Like you're thinking, but it's not going to get better, or I always have a difficult time with X, Y, or Z. And this card is coming through saying, let's just change the narrative on that one and say, Instead, you can still be fatigued and frustrated, but you can say, I'm ready for a change. I'm ready to end the cycle with this. I no longer seek this kind of experience. And that's at least sending to the universe the reset. You're pushing the reset button and you're ready to see where it's going to start to come through. Now let's take a look at this in a much more detailed sort of focus on those that are working, looking for work, or happily retired, or just not sort of focusing on wealth and career that much. So for those that are working first, strike that perfect balance. For some of you, your priorities have changed. Something that was okay before isn't anymore. So we all come to a point in our life. Sometimes it's because of age, sometimes it's because of experience, where you know that, the professional climbing of the ladder isn't as important as it used to be. For me, the awakening was a loss of the first parent. When my father passed away, he inspired me to kind of get on this path. When my mom passed away a few years ago, she also reminded me of the importance of just having balance in your life and not being afraid to go after any goal, no matter how big or small. So there's bigger things. There's more context out there than just, for some of you, it can be the birth of a child or entering into a new marriage. There's more people, there's different things that you're focusing on. And it helps you understand that, again, what used to be successful or sort of like define that has changed. And that's so normal. We continue to evolve. So some of you are weighing out the options, finding a new balance. So that might even be your title, Cancer. It's finding a new balance this month. And the key to that is you get to define what matters most and you take it one step at a time. You may have some convincing to do, as we talked about earlier, but you're going to sort it out. All right, let me just refocus it. That message is good for all of Cancer, but I want to kind of now just really focus on the message for those of you that are working. Okay, so here's what I see. For some of you, it is time to ask for more. This is, like I said, maybe for some of you, new partner, new child, new chapter, and it's like, I need more support. And I'm not finding it where I'm at. Some of you might go for, additional education, or you might be sending out a CV or something. But I would say put your best foot forward. And if you're not getting it where you're at, it's time to move on. I can sense the frustration and this feeling like you need either better balance. So some of you might want to take a sabbatical or break, or you need more resources to make it worth your while. You're shifting around priorities. But I do feel like it's within reach. It might just be a matter of speaking up and using all of those communication skills to really push back on an initial no, or someone that isn't super receptive to, an initial conversation. For any sort of money issues, again, go back and forth a couple times. It may take 3 times because I'm still not seeing us land on what we want with that. And explore other avenues and other options for sure if you want to. Patience is everything this month. I love the Temperance card. It's showing up in your own headspace. So your ability to be cool, calm, collected, and strategic is going to be key. Ultimately, I really love all the power cards that are coming through. However, if I go a few thousand miles above and look down at this can also represent a place where it's top heavy. So you might be working in a place where there are too many people that are making decisions and not enough people that are following through. So too many managers. And that can be a little frustrating. So you have to decide what works for you. Going back to school, allocating for a better work-life balance, and asking for more money. These are the key themes that I'm seeing. Can you get what you're looking for with a little bit of effort? And if you don't, then that's kind of your litmus test for deciding, should I stay or should I go? I can't make the decision for you, but I can see that there is a sense of not getting what you want where you're at. So I'm just acknowledging that and saying, if that's what you want, then you know what you need to do. All right. Focusing on those of you that are looking for work. I actually do think you can find something. The 8 of Pentacles is coming through. It's a really positive card. And there is some competition, but I do feel like you can land on your feet here. Don't let 1 or 2 rejections hold you back from going for what you want. Patience and trust in your abilities are really going to factor in here. There is a sense of needing to have a little bit more creative freedom, because that's really what the King of Cups is about, is expression. And so make sure that the next job offers that. I also see a desire not just competitive, but it feels like there's a lot of drive and a lot of pushy energy in one of the job options that you have. So make sure that it feels right for you. This job is the one I like. This represents something where you can grow. The compensation is great, and it may not be everything that you want, but there's room to develop and grow. There's another one that just has a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, and I think that could lead to burnout. And there's a lowball offer on the table too that I would pass. So there are choices. Make sure that you're not settling for something that doesn't meet your expectations just because it's the first or the only option on the table right now. For those who are happily retired, first of all, congratulations and good for you. I still get a cool card connected with learning. So some of you are deciding to maybe go back as a non-traditional student to learn something new. Some of you may be in a mentorship sort of role where you're teaching others. You may also be in a creative role where you're deciding to finally do like a passion project. And this could be anything that you want, from like drawing to pottery to maybe construction, because it's a hands-on card. And so the Eight of Pentacles is saying, work your magic, do something that you love. And this is a moment where you're going to continue to grow and learn things. And that's really exciting at any stage or at any age in life. So I don't get that there's this sort of boredom at all. I actually feel like there's something really engaging. There's even a chance for some of you to go back and do a little bit of, what do you call it, consulting work if you wanted to, even though you're retired. Students, this is a chance to decide if it's you or if it's, you have like a couple paths in front of you, but you're trying to figure out, like, is it a path you want, or are you doing it for someone else? You may have too many things on your plate. Don't overload yourself. Students, I've done it actually. Twice I graduated early. That's kind of crazy. Most people would only do it once, but I did it twice. There were semesters in undergraduate where normal credit hours would be like 15 to 18. I did 23 one time. So I was taking an extra 2 or 3 classes and I got approval, and I still did amazing, but it was really hard. And I worked all summer, but like that's the equivalent of overdoing it. You can do that when you're super young, but I will say I was burned out and really ready to leave when I did that. So I would ask you if you're overloading yourself while you're doing it. I wanted to travel, so the first time it was okay. The second time, I just want to save money. Both were okay, but like in retrospect, I might have told myself, just enjoy the experience. You only get to be a student once. So don't rush, and make sure that you aren't putting too much on your plate. Because is it worth the trade-off? I'm not sure based on these cards. It's a lot of hard work, but you have to be happy. Let's shift the focus to love and relationships. We have a card here that says the garden and the gate. Okay, this is cool. So this is you taking a moment to smell the flowers and deciding, I don't need to rush through that gate like we were talking about until I'm ready. This is also possibly for some of you just saying, I need a little space. The Temperance angel is nicely connected to that. And this gate reminds me a lot of the path that's in front of the Temperance angel. So before stepping forward and going down that path, you have to sort of tune in. And with this card in reverse, that's basically what this is saying. Before you open yourself up, before you step out there, just really get grounded and clear on what steps you want to take in relationships and in life in general. The gate represents also unlocking the heart, and that's the only thing this month that constitutes a potential block, is the Three of Swords. And the Four of Pentacles, which can be a closing down around the heart space. We can even see the coin purse right there over the heart. So opening yourself up to love, to feel, to be vulnerable, to express yourself, to use that throat chakra that we saw here with the Queen of Swords. Those are the general messages. Let's break it down into more specifics. We're going to look at those in a relationship first, and then we'll work our way through the other things. So again, with the heart, there's some healing that needs to be done. It may not even have anything to do with you and your partner. This could be disappointment because of, it could be a health issue. It could be environmental, like what's going on with friends or family or coworkers. But whatever it is, it's important to really heal that first and foremost. And that's why you're showing up with the King of Cups in reverse. If you're like, Nicholas, everything's okay, this can just show heightened sensitivity of you or your partner. This could also be your partner. Whoever's feeling the heightened sensitivity, just be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. That would be my message here. Other things that are going on. I feel like there's just maybe one too many obligations, and it's hard for the two of you to make time. The Two of Pentacles means that it's sort of like ships in the night. You're having a hard time maybe eating dinner together, or watching a movie together, or just being at the same place at the same time. And it leads to frustration, like, well, do I matter? Or why can't I make time on your calendar, etc. So I think just slowing down and acknowledging one another and saying no to some obligations so that you can enjoy each other's company. Communicative and demonstrative. So talking the talk, walking the walk. You have two different ways of being and two different communication styles. It is about meeting in the middle for sure this month. And the Temperance angel is patience. It takes time to change. It takes time to move through things. I really do feel like you guys are going to be okay. There might be one little hiccup, but these two cards show me that as long as you're willing to do the work, you're going to be okay. And if you can let go of, one thing that didn't work out the way you wanted, or the need to be right all of the time, or whatever it is, just a little bit of concession can equal a lot of happiness and a lot of common ground. Some of you are just afraid to air your grievances or to speak up. I think it's so important to communicate. I'm glad we have a communication card here. So as long as that continues, and this is a very practical card, the Eight of Pentacles. So it's basically putting it all out on the table, like putting your cards on the table and saying, here's how I feel. This is what we've done. Am I missing something? How can we make this work? That's the thing. This is not a card of pointing fingers. This is a card of figuring it out. So if you can just put it all out there and say, this is what I can do. I feel like you're feeling this. What can we do to make this work? That's the key. So as long as that communication process happens, great. If this gets swept under the rug, it doesn't heal. And that's the only thing you need to be mindful of this month. Or possibly a partner that's not expressing themselves. You can't force expression, but you can say that when you don't tell me how you feel, it frustrates me. I don't know how to show up for you. I don't know how to be there. And so please help me by, being a little bit more open. I feel like that's one of the conversations some of you have to have. Okay, moving on. For those of you that are looking for love this month, do you have the time? I've been saying that a lot lately, but it's especially true for you. We already have this sort of being pulled in two different directions. We have also, for some of you, we'll talk more about this, but are you ready to put in what it takes? Because it does take a lot. One of the things to overcome this month is simply the frustration. Like, why hasn't your partner shown up yet? This is totally what this is. Why is everyone else where I want to be? And meanwhile, the universe is saying, I have someone, or I have the perfect connection, but you have to be past this. So it's really just about recalibrating, continuing to do the work on yourself, heal yourself. We do see, that once this happens, there's a couple of partners, possibly even from the past, that want to come through. But higher love is en route. Healing is necessary first. So I would say for you, if you can just focus on the first 2 weeks of the month on getting your feet on solid ground, then towards the end, you're going to start to see a certain type of person come through. Interestingly enough, unless it's someone from the past, the sign didn't show up. But what I do see is someone that's hardworking and someone that doesn't give up. So I do like those attributes. And sometimes Spirit doesn't want to show us how someone's going to look or what the sign is. For you, I think it's because there's still a little bit of inner work to be done. So focus on that first, and then open your heart and open your mind, and Spirit will show you exactly what you need to see when you're ready to see it. Okay, so for now, I would say it's really time to take a pause. I'm getting more, I think there might even be some healing to do with past relationships first. Once that happens, then new people can start to come through. Okay, so focusing now on those that are happy, single, not focusing so much on relationships. Here's what I see for you. It's a great period for growth and success. Success in the realm of accomplishing your goals. Some of you also monetary success, but it's just about expansion of thoughts, and for some of you also increased sensitivity, which you can use for creative projects and intuitive growth as well. So good for you. If you are happy and single, there's a lot to do there. But even for those that are happily single, there's still some healing to do. So I think that the overarching thing here for you to find a new balance, to get on solid ground this month, is really to focus on what you want, loving yourself unconditionally, and really mending the ways, letting go of things and mending that heart. Okay, now let's move on to destiny. This is beautiful. Breadcrumbs of bliss. Heed your pleasure principles. Someone likes Janet Jackson. But breadcrumbs of bliss. So breadcrumbs are basically a way to find your way to or from something. And this is saying follow the signs. Follow the signs to happiness and allow yourself to be happy. And that's really all we have to put out there on this card is it's okay to be happy. And if you haven't sort of like taken a moment to tune in, you're going to miss this hidden ace on the Four of Cups. The universe is trying to give you the breadcrumbs and point you in a direction that is more blissful. So yay for that, right? Let's go ahead now and expand this a little bit further to look at the sun, rising, and moon sign messages and fine tune this for each. Sun, rising, and moon. They're all really good. Let's start off with sun sign messages first. This is completion. I talked about mastery. This is the mastery card. So apprenticeship, Eight of Pentacles, mastery, completion, and also validation. It's en route. It may not come through exactly when you want it, but it's coming through. Take your time. Really make sure that you're doing each thing with passion and completion. This is like dotting all your I's, crossing all your T's, because we see someone weaving there. And you have to make sure that every stitch is done with care, with love, and with precision. But that being said, you're on the right track. This is a great time for collegiate activities, a great time to also, for those of you that do want to publish or put something into production, all of this really portends good things. It's a nice card for contracts. Make sure that you kind of go through each line. There is something here about the details. So I talked about the devil energy. The devil's in the details, but so is the divinity. So if you can really work out each and every detail to be something that is great, then you're off to a really great month here with the Three of Pentacles. Let's shift the focus now to rising and ascendant sign messages. We have the Ten of Pentacles. In the upright position, this can represent marriage, a great contract, good energy around money overall, and networking as well. When reversed as it came through, however, it can represent peer pressure, familial pressure, and sometimes the unrealistic expectations we put upon ourselves to meet those external standards. So give yourself a break. Remember, you can't make everybody happy, and it's important to not get lost in the crowd. Be yourself. And if people truly love and support you, they will do so unconditionally, and it'll just take a little bit of time and recalibration perhaps for them to understand why you might be taking an about face, but do what you need to do. And mostly this is just about standing up to unrealistic expectations and pushing back, because we did see a resource crunch at the center if there's too much on your plate, okay? And we even see how that might look here with the Eight of Pentacles. Some of you want to take a step back and learn something, or just focus on something different right now than having to do all the public-facing stuff. So it could also be that. Whatever you need to do to be happy, you don't have to do it all the time. So speak up, push back, and know that this card wouldn't come through if you weren't already successful. In Cancer Moon, we have the Two of Wands. This is one of the most psychic cards here in the Minor Arcana, aside from what we would see in the Major with the High Priestess and the Magician. Why, you ask? Because she's taking time to tune in, and she's looking at where she's at and where things are showing up in the world. She's looking for the breadcrumbs of bliss here that we got in the Destiny card. So by being able to see the signs, she can also recognize the synchronicities, unlike the Four of Cups. So keep your eye on the horizon, keep tuning into your heart, keep looking at the map and mapping out what your next steps will be right now. This is going to bring you one step closer to your hopes, to your dreams, to your goals. All right? let's go ahead now and take a look at the final question for today. This is anything that I haven't had a chance to answer, but you still have a question about. Go ahead and ask that question to Spirit, and let's see what the cards have to say. It's time to move on, folks. Six of Swords in reverse. For some of you, you're thinking, I could have, I should have, I would have. Here's the interesting thing that's holding you back from making the next step or the next move. We see 3 of the crows in the background and 3 in the front. When this card is reversed, she's kind of like the 2 of Pentacles, neither here nor there. So my first message here is it's time to move on. It's time to let go. Whatever you need to do in order to do that, this is confirmation from Spirit that it's okay. This is a card also of simply moving. So some of you may be on the precipice of starting a new job, starting a new relationship, moving in or moving out. And although it may have been inconveniently timed, it's also cosmically timed. So change is happening for a reason. As a yes versus no question, this is saying there's something that you need to let go of in the past, because this should be a forward-looking card, but it's reversed. So there's something in the past that I think is connected with this. And it's basically just saying you're a different version of yourself now. Don't let something hold you back from taking this next step or this next move. But a little bit of emotional healing needs to be done before I could say yes. So there's something that's keeping you facing the past rather than the future, so shift the focus. All right. Overall, I like the Six of Swords because it does show momentum, trajectory, and movement, as well as healing. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your reading today. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe. You can also share with someone as well. You can also give me a follow across social media. It's always my full name here, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. There are some imposters out there, so remember, I don't have second or different accounts. I won't message you, and I don't offer products and services through direct message. So if anyone's asking for something, just block, report, leave a comment too so I can do the same. By the way, if you would like to give back, it's optional, but you can always do it here on this channel through a super sticker, super chat, or becoming a member. And thanks in advance for anybody that wants to do that. And that's everything. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I wish you all the best. Remember to check out my daily readings and join me for a live stream every Sunday at 9:15 a.m. Take care of yourselves, and until I see you again, much love and light.